welcome everybody in this morning to our virtual meeting slash training session. This was initially scheduled for March 13th, but given the current situation, we pushed it out 2 months. And given the circumstances and kind of looking at where things are going to be in the coming weeks, we felt it would be best to go ahead and have this meeting today. Again, do appreciate everybody coming in today. We're going to look for this being about an hour or so. We've truncated it down for what it was going to be if we were doing this in person. Overall goal today is kind of go over Metro's MS4 permit, stormwater quality permit, and the various department responsibilities. Give you a little bit of orientation in our program, and just wanted to welcome you again today. And at this time, we were going to recognize our director, Mr. Scott Potter, and I believe he wanted to pass along a few sentiments. Mr. Potter?
Thank you, Michael. Just want to make sure that you can hear me.
I can.
That's great. Well, good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day, and it reminds me of the value of our watershed and everyone on this call, their contribution to its improvement. Obviously, I would prefer to be together with everybody, and I'm sure that most people would share that sentiment because I'm looking forward to actually seeing people in person. I do extend my welcome and my best wishes. I mentioned earlier about the watershed and its value and its improvement over the last several years and actually last several decades. And everyone on this call has a direct contribution to that because Metro has a lot of property that we can influence the watershed with. And we also have a very important responsibility to set the example. And I want to extend my sincere thanks to everybody for doing that. We've got data that can prove the fact that the watershed's health has improved over the last 20 years. And I think in the last 5 to 10 years, it's even improved more quickly. And like I said earlier, it's a direct result of everyone on this call's efforts. One of the things I wanted to share with you is the fact that the team effort employed by everybody has resulted in some national recognition. The NPDES program was recognized as the best Phase 1 organization by the Stormwater Congress at the Water Environment Federation's annual exposition in Chicago last year. And being recognized as the best Phase 1 permit is obviously very important to us, and it's an indicator of our success, and we couldn't have that success without your help. And I wanted to say thank you for that. We often talk about at Water how improving the watershed is a goal that we'll never reach because we always want to make it one iteration better every day. So I want to thank you for participating in that. So I look forward to your presentation, Michael, and I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming on today and passing those sentiments along. As I get started here, I wanted to just give you a little bit of a hierarchy of how things work at Metro Water Services. Obviously, Mr. Potter's the director. He's over our entire operation. David Tucker is over our operations activities, and that includes, several groups that have people out and about and doing field work and doing the type of activities that fall under our group. Tom Palco is Assistant Director of Stormwater. He's responsible for everything relating to stormwater, not just our subsection, but stormwater maintenance, all of our floodplain work, those sorts of things fall under Tom. I'm manager of the MPDS program, and just to give you a brief insight into the type of things and activities that we have going on out of our office, obviously the focus of this presentation today relates to our MS4 permit compliance. That's a key part of what we do, but also from within our office, we serve to conduct grading permit inspections. Those are the land development permits that are issued Metro-wide, whereby we are looking at such things as erosion prevention and sediment control, and that sites are built per plan to meet the various stormwater regulations. We also have a watershed group that is out and about in our watersheds. They're in our streams. They're doing sampling. They're doing stream walks, various stream assessments to, on an ongoing basis, be evaluating what is the nature of our streams and to try to identify any issues that we find. We work a lot with the state in that activity, so that's a very important element as well. And then we have a special projects group that is involved with things such as regulation, special projects, and also that group is involved with a more involved tree involvement on the part of stormwater, given the benefits that trees provide from a stormwater perspective. And the last of our four sections of this presentation today will be a brief update from that group, especially relating to some new regulations in that area for Metro. Um, then also in our group, we generally uh, don't have a lot of involvement with agriculture, but in the last couple of years, the Davidson County Soil and Water Conservation District has moved within our office. So that's been very beneficial in that it allows us to sort of broaden our program to include agricultural interests. So we do have several things going on in our office. But like I said today, we're going to be focusing on our MS4 permit uh, program. Okay, there. Sorry about that. Um, so today, here's our agenda. I'm going to go over a brief history of the MS4 permit. The next part of the presentation will be the specifics of some of those requirements from Josh Hayes. As it relates to how we work with each department, Allison Davis is going to be talking about that. I know we interact with a lot of you on a routine basis as far as helping you sort of be aware of the things EPA would look at and TDEC if they came here and audited us. And then finally, Rebecca Dawn will be talking about trees as it relates to metro departments. And then at that point, uh, we will open it up for discussion, at which point you can use your raise your hand feature, and or if you want to, if you'd rather just send us an offline email, you can certainly do that as well. One thing I will remark before I go on to the next slide, obviously the lion's share of the MS4 permit requirements are based out of our office. We do a lot of the elements that Josh will talk about, but when we sit down with EPA and TDEC, they really consider Metro's MS4 permit compliance to be a Metro endeavor. They don't look at it as a Metro Water Services permit, or they are looking at it as a Metro permit. That's why we work so hard with all of you, our partners, to make sure that we're doing those sorts of things that we need to do when and if we ever do have a regulatory involvement with those entities, that we're doing everything as we should be doing them. We have always, though, let the overriding goal be to improve our water resources here in the county. Obviously, being here in Metro Water and drawing our drinking water from the Cumberland, that's very important. But it's very important as these streams flow through our neighborhoods that they are kept clean and that we're doing everything that we can to keep them pristine and of a high value. So I want to get in very briefly with just an overview, a refresher of our MS4 permit program. Um, and what the importance of that permit compliance history is. Um, you know, we are subject to audit, as is any MPDS permittee, as it relates to our compliance with our permit. So that's something we have to be aware of. Mr. Potter referenced our recent award by the Water Environment Federation, and we do certainly appreciate and thanks all the help that we've gotten in participation by the various departments over the years. In that, I think a lot of what went into that proposal uh, covered the various things that you have done, and we got the highest score, and then we also got an innovation recognition, and I think some of that specifically went in to some of the things we've worked with some of you over time. So we do thank you for that. This regulatory mechanism that we're working to comply with does come out of the 72 Clean Water Act. You probably remember the pictures of the Cuyahoga River in Ohio catching on fire, but the basic premise and goal of the Clean Water Act was to restore and maintain the chemical, physical, and biological integrity of the nation's waters. It set up a permitting system where certain types of processes had to test their discharges to waters. At the time, it was seen as a monumental hill to climb, but over time, facilities found a way to accommodate those needs, and water quality did improve. But what the researchers and scientists found over time is that it improved to a degree, but not all the way. And they identified and had the thought that there were some other things at play that needed to be dealt with. That led to the 87 and 90 Clean Water Act amendment that added stormwater coverage to NPDS. It included industrial facilities that might not have a processed wastewater discharge per se, but maybe just by the nature of their facility had stormwater runoff that introduced pollutants into the system. And it also added phase one and phase two municipal permits, which included the stormwater systems in cities, phase one being larger cities such as us, phase two being smaller cities and counties. And the finding there was that just by the nature of a city being a city and doing what it does, and people conducting the activities they do, that without some kind of special and ongoing programs, that can also lead to pollution making it into our waterways. As I mentioned, the phase one stormwater permit E's are the larger permittees. This is a listing of those in Tennessee. Obviously, we are one of those. This is a schematic from EPA that goes into what I was saying about the general activities that can go in and contribute to that, all the way from your factories, industrial facilities, private sanitary overflows, different types of activity, uh, even non-point things like the application of fertilizers, herbicides, and whatnot can play into what contributes to pollution from urban wet weather flows. This is a map of Davison County. Our MS4 permit does not cover the entire Davison County area. There are some exceptions by rule. Those exceptions are the satellite cities. They are generally covered with their own phase two permits. We do try to coordinate with them as it relates to getting the right information to the right people, but they have their own programs. The brown areas show the combined sewer areas, which means stormwater and sanitary waste is combined in routing to our plants, and during certain periods of heavy rainfall may overflow. And then the rest of the area is the MS4 permit area. So a very big area, being a municipality. We are a very large MS4. We've sort of looked at over time how we, rank, and obviously with about 500 square miles, we're one of the larger MS4s in the country. Certainly, one of the top 10. One of our former employees put this together, kind of as it relates to Massachusetts and Boston. So you can see we're a pretty big MS4 permittee. We also, and one of the reasons it's so important that we do what we do with our MS4 permit is that Davidson County is blessed with a lot of water resources. We have thousands of miles of rivers and creeks and tribs. So what we're doing to prevent polluted runoff is very important to Metro, and even more reason that we're attentive to these permit requirements and doing what we need to do to not have either chronic or acute discharges. So how all of this got started was in July 1st, 1996. Metro was issued what's called an MPDS permit by EPA and TDEC. Being a phase one permittee, our permits always have to get EPA approval, Region 4 approval as well. So we're working all the time with TDEC mainly, but also EPA has a role as well. So we got a permit in the beginning that contained any number of programmatic elements that we as a city were expected to do to curtail and to the maximum extent practicable reduce stormwater pollution to our MS4. Some of the things in that cycle one, we had to establish regulations as it related to quality. We already had the floodplain regulations and some of the grading permit regulations, but we had to modify that to bring in development. We had to bring in a non-stormwater, or what we call an illicit discharge ordinance. That's 1564-205, and that basically uh, makes it illegal to have a non-stormwater discharge to the storm sewer system. Um, We had to collect GIS information for that 492 square miles of MS4 permit area. Um, that's an old number. The last time I checked, we're up to about 250,000 features, MS4 features, and we are on an ongoing basis. In fact, have one person dedicated to doing nothing but updating that MS4 data. I will tell you, in the beginning, that was quite a chore to go out and collect that. We had, I think, at one point, 18 teams of two going out and collecting that data. So it's very valuable, and it's something that we maintain and update all the time. And I would just say at this point, if any of you are doing anything, I know we work a lot with Public Works on some of their cross drain projects, but anything you're doing that might change an MS4 element, a pipe, or whatever, please let us know, and we would love to plug that into our system because it needs to be as up to date as possible. We also had to perform field screening on what is more now than about 5,000 outfalls just to make sure we don't have any illicit discharges. And then we had to initiate a construction inspection program as it relates to erosion prevention and sediment control. It's a very important component of our program. Sediment is one of the leading pollutants of our streams. And if you think of, obviously, sometimes creeks do run a little bit turbid, but if you think of a construction site that would just allow sediment uncontrolled to go into a stream, it would be more of a muddy slurry. So we have and require and inspect controls on all construction projects. We also expect, even if a site isn't permitted and they need EPSC, to install basal EPSC to try to prevent, again, to the MEP, that sediment is not lost from site. This again is an own number. We have performed tens of thousands of those inspections over time, and it's really made a big difference that we see in some of our data. This is a picture of the GIS inventory and what was involved with that. Again, almost 500 square miles. You can see that was not a minor endeavor. During the first cycle, we did find a lot of large illicit discharges where waste streams were being routed to the MS4. I'm thankful to say at this point in time, we hardly ever see
No.
anything like this ever. So that is that is very important to us. Cycle two, these permits are issued on a 5-year basis. Our next permit was issued on July 1st, 2003. It basically built off the first permit with some minor modifications. As you see, we had performed a lot of construction site inspections. In the beginning, we had a lot of non-compliance cases. So we did issue a lot of administrative penalties. That number has dropped precipitously over time, and in fact, we like that. We like, because that's indicative that we don't have those sorts of things going on. So we do feel like we're getting a lot more compliance now. We had over 12,000 illicit discharge investigations. That's where we get complaints and go out and look at whether or not there are discharges, waste discharges going into the storm sewer system. Then during phase cycle two, we did implement a new stormwater user fee. There were a lot of things that went into that, but I will say one of the things was that EPA, in their remarks during one of our audits, made mention of the fact that we really needed a dedicated funding source to perpetuate and make the program resilient. So in cycle two, we stepped up construction oversight. We added pre-construction meetings. Some of you are aware, before we issue a grading permit. Now, the project reps come in, meet with us, obviously not right now, but had been and will once we get past this current situation. We sit down, we talk about the project, we make sure the EPSC inspection is going to go well, and that's really helped us in that regard. I mentioned the audit that was in 2006. On the left is the paperwork we had to provide. On the right is the EPA inspector going out and looking at some things. And one of the things I will tell you, when they come in, the first places they want to go are to Metro sites, with the thought being that, you know, we should have a control and a handle on that. Um, I mentioned the dedicated funding source. This is just a reference to that was in their report. Um, Talked about the stormwater user fee that came on board, ironically, just before our
Yeah.
flood. And so that sort of brought stormwater to the front in a pretty big way during that time as well. Cycle 3 was issued in 2012. It's the permit we're currently working under that's administratively extended. And in this permit, we got to much more detailed and specific requirements. Um, it's been extended now, like I said, looking at what our new permit requirements might be. And we are looking at an inspection audit from TDEC in the coming probably months. It's been delayed by the current situation, but we are looking at this, and likely it will involve metro facilities, which is why we've been reaching out to you. We always do, but maybe a little bit more lately. And from a pragmatic standpoint, we're fortunate because we don't think, we think we're in good shape permit compliance wise, but there is a pragmatic aspect to this beyond just the fact we want to maintain our water resources. There is significance to not having non-compliance. This is just one example, and there can be all sorts of things in these enforcements to include the requirement to hire staff. So that's important to us, but not as important as maintaining our water resources. So that's my part of the presentation. I at this point am going to turn it over to Josh Hayes, who is over our program and our permit compliance program. And once I can move this over to him, he will take over the presentation. Again, thanks for coming in today and listening to us. And if you have any questions now or later, feel free to send us an email. Okay, Josh, you should be good to go.
Okay. Let me just get the presentation going here. All right, can you hear me, Stephanie?
We can, yes.
Okay, good. All right.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Thank you. Like Michael said in the beginning, the permit is issued to all Metro Nashville. Metro Water Services just happens to be the steward of the permit that coordinates all the activities and reports back to TDEC and the EPA to make sure that we're compliant with that permit. But we rely on all of your departments to help us in that endeavor. And you guys probably hear from me. Many of you hear from me once a year, every year, requesting specific data for our annual report to TDEC. We also coordinate throughout the year whenever issues arise that we need to address. But we appreciate your help. We appreciate you being on the call today. This actual training will log into our database, and this will actually go towards our permit compliance. So that's another reason we're doing it today. Before we get going too far into some of the permit requirements, I wanted to put some faces with some names because you mostly hear from us through email, sometimes phone calls, but this is our group as of today, May 15th, 2020. This is our yearbook photo. It's just out. These are all the faces in our group. Of course, Michael is over our program administration. We got several other different departments that are broken down. We have Rebecca Doan, as you mentioned, is over the special projects section and the urban forestry component of stormwater. We have Mary Bruce and her group, the watershed group, as we refer to them. They do a lot of the sampling in the creeks, and they go out and assess the condition and health of the streams. And then, as Mr. Potter alluded to in the beginning, submit that data back to TDEC so that we can prove that the watersheds are improving. We also, as of late, got a one-person department, Carol Edwards, soil conservation. She's for the Davidson County Soil Conservation District. She's in stormwater now. She's a good fit into our program as soil conservation goes right alongside with stormwater management. Also in our group, we have the group that I'm in, the MS4 permit compliance group, and we do a lot of the core MS4 permit items that I'll go over today, and the main reason that we're meeting today as far as metro sites. And then, of course, Dale Binder and his group of inspectors, they oversee all of the grading permit sites in the county. If there's grading over a quarter of an acre, they have to get a grading permit, and all of his inspectors are out there inspecting them to make sure there's not impacts from those sites to our creeks and our MS4. Before we move on, I want to point out a few people that are from my group that are on the call today that you may be dealing with in the future, and moving the cursor over their faces right now if you can see it. But this is Liz Steinstraw. She's our person that we've put into contact with all the metro departments to make sure that their stormwater control measures, which we'll talk more about, detention ponds, bioretention basins, all the sites that were required to be put on your facility when the property was developed. She's coordinating with the department contacts to make sure they do the proper maintenance and inspection every year of their sites. Allison Davis, who's also going to be presenting a little bit later in the presentation, she's kind of our education coordinator in the group. And that is important because we need to educate our employees just as much as we have to educate our community, make sure our employees are properly trained. She's going to be talking about a few things briefly on that. And then lastly, who's on the call today from our group is Kevin Turner, who some of you may have already dealt with. He's going around to metro maintenance facilities, inspecting them, making sure that they're following their plans that we've developed, and there's no issues with maintenance facilities and pollutants draining off of them. This is our group. So when EPA or TDEC comes to do their next audit, the first thing they're going to ask for is a copy of our stormwater management plan. The last cycle of our permit, which was issued in 2012, required us to put this plan into a document form. And so we did that in 2013. And this plan is available on our Metro intranet page, which I'll have a link if y'all don't know where that's at. Later in the presentation, there's a link to show you where this is at. But this stormwater management plan is basically goes through every permit requirement that is in the MS4 permit, and it describes in detail how we meet those permit requirements. So this will be the first thing they ask for. And if we have written information and processes in that plan, and we give that to them, when they come to do their audit, they're going to ask to see that in place in the field. So if we put it in the plan that we're coordinating with OEM and Public Works on spill response, they're going to want to see how we do that when they come here. So we need to make sure that we're following and adhering to that plan. As Michael mentioned and Mr. Potter mentioned early on, the whole reason of our MS4 permit is really to reduce the pollutants from the urban water runoff from stormwater events into our streams. Within the county, TDEC and the EPA have listed over 251 miles of stream that are currently considered to be impaired for a variety of pollutants. This could be E. coli, this could be sediment, it could be nutrients, nitrogen and phosphorus. Some stretches of stream are impaired for multiple parameters. But in most of these streams that are listed as impaired have TMDLs that set numeric limits on the pollutants that can drain to them. So it's important that we try to stay within those limits, because if we don't, we exceed those limits, the EPA could actually come to town and put moratoriums on certain developments in certain neighborhoods, which we don't want. So that's why it's important to follow TMDLs. We have worked diligently. Our watershed group has, over the last 10 years, been sampling all of our streams in the county. We know we do projects as organizations. We do sewer rehab projects that improve or reduce the amount of overflows and bacteria into our creeks. We just have to prove to TDEC that these projects are actually reducing the pollutants to our creeks. So that's where the sampling comes into play, and we have to do a whole gamut of sampling following strict TDEC and EPA guidelines and protocols, and submit that data to TDEC. And by submission of this data, over the last 10 years, we've gotten over 53 miles of streams to be removed from the 303D list, which is very important for our community. In the MS4 permit, it talks about specifically discharges to impaired waterways, and that we as a metro government are to implement two types of controls: structural controls and non-structural controls. Majority of this presentation and what we do from a metro department standpoint is considered non-structural, where it's programs and processes that we put in place to reduce pollution from coming from properties, our maintenance activities, us overseeing development to reduce pollution. Those are all considered non-structural controls. But there is an aspect of our permit that requires us to consider installing structural controls proactively to try to improve the runoff from our metro properties into creeks. And so we refer to those as structural controls, such as a sewer rehab project would be an example, or a stormwater retrofit. So in an effort to try to improve this, we dedicated within the last couple of years a portion of our stormwater user fee funds to go towards doing large projects that would improve runoff from metro properties into waterways or MS4 before draining into waterways. So we're always looking for good candidates of sites, metro properties that have potential stormwater retrofits or stream bank stabilization opportunity. To show you, we've already started working on some. We've got one in the ground already. In 2016, we began sampling our dog parks around the Davidson County. We worked closely with our parks department during this process. And we're obviously concerned about the runoff. We promote people picking up their waste as much as we can, but it's human nature. And there's just people that will not pick up their waste, and we understand that. So we did sampling of the runoff at many of these parks, and we found a couple of them where the drainage was configured where all of it would come to one confined ditch or outfall. And when we sampled that outfall, it had really high levels of E. coli. Some of the sampling data, the levels were approaching what we would see in a typical sanitary sewer overflow as far as the E. coli levels. So obviously we can't just sample, find that, and not do anything. We had to try to address this issue. Closing down the dog park's not a feasible option for the neighborhood. So the best thing that we came up with is to try to route that drainage through some structural controls. And this is a bioretention basin that we installed, designed and permitted and installed about 2 years ago at Pitt's Dog Park. And this is off of Tusculum Road. But the whole idea of it is to direct the runoff from the dog park into the bioretention basin so that that runoff can infiltrate into the ground and not go straight into the creek, which is only about 100 yards away. And by capturing the runoff, we should be capturing the bacteria associated with that runoff from the dog waste and any nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus also associated with that waste. We're actively out there now. We've put meters in the upstream and downstream junction boxes to monitor the flow so that we can prove to TDEC and the EPA the amount of flow reduction and overall pollutant reductions that we've achieved coming off of that park. So that's something we're excited about. We've got several projects in the works right now that are being designed and finalized, and we're getting permits for and trying to fund in the future. This is a police impound lot, which is over near our Omohundro water treatment plant. This is a large area which is almost 100% impervious pavement. It's a big hill with a valley in the middle, and in that valley is a stream that drains to the Cumberland River ultimately. This, obviously, we've worked with the site. We've put together plans, and they do the best they can to prevent oils and other pollutants from contacting the pavement and running off into the stream. But we feel like we need to try to retrofit this property to improve the water quality entering that tributary to the Cumberland River. So we've designed a project. It's about to be finalized where we're going to be installing some water quality swells and a detention basin to try to treat this runoff before it goes into that tributary. And we've worked closely with the police department They've been very helpful throughout this whole process. Incidentally, they're experiencing a lot of flooding when we get heavy downpours because there's a bottleneck in the culvert downstream under the railroad track. We think while this project is designed to treat the water quality, it may also help with some of that flooding issue, provide some storage for them. Another dog park that we're looking at doing a project on that we've identified has a concentrated flow path coming from the site is the Two Rivers Dog Park near McGavick Pike. And that one is a little bit different. It's got a large drainage area, so we can't just put one little bioretention basin to treat the water and capture it. We're going to have to do a combination of structures where we put some bioretention structures and then some vegetative management practices where we fence out the dogs and try to restore native grasses and prairie mixture to treat that runoff before it goes through. So that's something that's we finalized the design on, and it's just awaiting to be funded going forward. And the other project that we're actively working on right now with the design, and we're working with our Parks Department. This is on Parks property up in the northern part of the county. This is Manskers Creek, which is listed as being impaired for sediment. And it has about a 240-foot section of vertical bank that is actively eroding. In this picture, you can actually see the utility pole that has eroded away from the bank, which has since been removed. But the bank, since we've started looking at it, has moved several feet towards the left. And there's a greenway trail over here, and there's a sanitary sewer main right here. It's not one of Metro Water's lines, but we are interested in stabilizing this bank to prevent damage to that so it doesn't impact the creek. But we also want to take away all this active erosion in the bank and all that sediment loss to the stream. So that's a project that we're looking to fund this year. So with that said, we're always looking for opportunities. So when you guys go back to your properties and you're walking around your facilities and you see opportunity, it's not just stream bank stabilization. If you have a large parking lot that drains straight to a creek, you have a lot of cars parked on it, you see oil sheens come off when it rains, we could look at doing a structural retrofit where we put an oil water separator or some other type of structure that separates the pollutants before it drains to that stream. So we're always open to ideas. Just let me know, shoot me an email, and I'll come out and look at it, and we'll see if there's good opportunity on your sites. So I'm going to shift gears now to talking about more of the non-structural controls that we need to implement as a metro departments across the spectrum. And one of the first things that's in our permit is their public information and education and public involvement. In 2013, we put together what we call our PI plan, and it basically lays out all of our educational targeting that we're going to try to meet, that we're still working on, where we identify hot zones and we do mail outs. We can also have meetings in certain neighborhoods, workshops for different types of industry, such as landscapers. That's stuff that we've already started, but we need to continue going forward. And we're always looking for public involvement opportunities, such as Sonia's Adopt a Stream program. We're working with Cumberland River Compact to get the community involved in things. But Allison's going to talk a little bit more about how we can work with other metro departments to partner on different educational opportunities. These are just some examples of mail outs that we've sent in the past to certain neighborhoods. We also attend events. We have educational booth up at many events. We host an event with the TDEC. It's called the Urban Runoff 5K, which is good because we co-host it with our regulator. But it's a good, fun, educational event. And we can, like I said, we can host workshops. This is a workshop we had with stormwater maintenance companies that we did. So that's always something that we're looking to do that we would be more than happy to partner with any other department on. Within our MS4 permit, it specifically says we have to coordinate and address spills on roadways and private properties that drain to our MS4. And we work closely with the OEM department and the Public Works Hazmat department and we have somebody available 24/7 that's on call that can respond to spills. We don't clean them up. Metro's role is just to make sure that the responsible party cleans up the material and to assess the impact. If it's a huge tanker truck that's going to really impact a creek, we need to start that coordination through OEM, TEMA, and TDEC to make sure all those impacts are reported. So that's something that we work together on. Another aspect of our MS4 permit, and this is really the key aspect of our entire permit, is our illicit discharge detection and elimination program. And it's got several different elements. You'll probably hear us refer to it as the IDDE program, or illicit discharge program. One of the first elements and most important element is mapping all the storm drains. As Michael mentioned, in that first cycle, we spent a lot of money and time mapping all the storm drains in the entire county. There's a provision in our permit that says anytime we change any of that drainage, if there's a sidewalk project that changed the drainage configuration of it, we need to update our GIS system within 9 months of completion. This is actually in our permit. So anytime you have a project as a Metro department where you're changing our drains, we need to know about it. Also within our illicit detection discharge program, we have several different avenues that we find and detect illicit discharges and get them eliminated. Our permit requires us to have a citizen complaint response program, which we do. And Hub Nashville has been very integral in expanding that as we've gotten increased amounts of complaints that are coming in about stormwater pollution. So we have that in place where we allow the public to report pollution. We also do proactive programs like inspecting industrial facilities. Many industrial facilities have stormwater permits from TDEC. But we go out there and proactively inspect them, given all the potential for materials they have exposed on their property that could run off. And we find issues with that. We have a dry weather field screening program where we're inspecting commercial facilities. We're looking at their dumpsters, their grease bins. We work together with the codes department and our pre-treatment section in Metro Water on that. We do something that's not in our permit, above and beyond. We partner with the police department to use their infrared aerial photography in their helicopter to fly certain creeks during the winter months to look for thermal anomalies that may indicate a sewer leak, a water leak, or a potential illicit discharge. And our watershed group are out there walking, assessing our streams on a daily basis, looking for potential impacts to our streams. And most importantly, what I want to talk about today is receiving reports by other Metro departments. This is a really key element. We have hundreds of people out on the streets every day working for Metro. So if they see something, they need to report it so that we can address it and make sure if it is an illicit discharge that we get it eliminated. And this is the reporting mechanisms, the phone numbers, and we have email groups, or of course, Hub Nashville. Even Metro employees could go through Hub Nashville. But we need to know about these occurrences, and Metro employees could be critical in that. These are just some examples. This is an example of a citizen complaint that came in a few years ago where the resident of this commercial building noticed odor in their storm drain. So they called us and we went out, and this is not part of the combined sewer. This is part of our separated area. We traced the sewer odor back across the street up to in front of this commercial building where we noticed an intermittent discharge coming out into the storm drain. When we went into the building, we found their basement level had new restrooms that had put in place a few years ago, and they routed all those restrooms through to a sunk pit that also receives groundwater from the building foundation. And it has a pump with the float that when the float kicks on, it pumps it out to the storm drain in front of the building. So we're able to get that eliminated right away, which took a lot of pollutants out of our system. But that all started with a citizen complaint. Allison, who I mentioned and will present here in a minute, She is over our industrial inspection program as well. And these are some of the things that we have found over the years. Fortunately, we don't find this often, but we do from time to time find issues where there's industrial product exposed on the ground that could flow off into our MS4 or our streams. This is a concrete ready mix facility. We have a lot of issues with ready mix facilities, especially when the development is booming like it was previously. They're not keeping their pits clean, and we have discharges like this to the river or the creeks. So we're out there finding that regularly. We're also going to commercial facilities, and we're doing dry weather field screenings. Kevin Turner, who's also doing our metro inspections, heads up this process. And these are some of the examples of what we found by proactively going out there and looking at these facilities. This is a sewer clean out where no telling how long the clean out cap was broken behind the building and it was discharging into the back grassy area. This is an example where a pallet company was painting pallets and they washed all their paint into the storm drain that went to a creek. We have found water main breaks while out doing field screening. We're not waiting for pollution to happen. We're getting out there and we're looking for it proactively, which is good. And we work with other departments with this. When we find a sewer clean out issue, a lot of times code sanitation has more enforcement ability than we do. If it's not reaching a creek or MS4, we rely on them to get the situation corrected. This is an example of a Metro employee reporting an issue to us in the past. Andy Welch, I'm going to give you some credit on this one, was driving near the river and saw a big plume of black liquid going into the Cumberland River, called us, and we went out there and we found the site. An industrial facility was pumping their sludge tank right into the river. And we were able to stop it immediately, enforce on it, and coordinate with TDEC. But we relied on employee notifications for that. This is an example of our proactive thermograph investigations. This is our aerial photography from the police department's camera. In the winter months, when the stream cools down, the water in the stream cools down to a certain level, the groundwater will put off a heat signature, but so will sewer leaks, and so will water leaks, and so will illicit discharges. So we fly certain creeks when the weather permits during the winter months, and we look for these thermal anomalies. And when we find them, we do field sampling to determine if it's a sewer leak, water leak, or just groundwater. We also work closely with our system services folks in Metro Water. There's a provision in our Metro Water, our MS4 permit, that requires us to prevent discharges of sanitary sewer to the MS4. We work with them when they identify issues with service laterals. We also work, as I mentioned, with the codes department in rectifying those situations. But we all work together. We have to coordinate and make sure these discharges are stopped. We can't just go out and find them, realize it's not our department, and not say anything. We need to make sure everybody knows when there's an issue so that the proper department can enforce on it and stop this discharge. This is an example of a sanitary sewer issue that we found a couple years ago, where there was an aerial sewer crossing, which was a private service lateral, and we noticed it leaking. Dye traced up to a house, or actually 2 homes tied into it, and we were able to get them to repair sanitary sewer leak. Also within our MS4 permit is our construction oversight program, which is very critical, as Michael mentioned, the grading permits that we oversee. This is a huge aspect. We have 8 people in our office that oversee this. We send out thousands of dollars of fines each year to private sites that have sediment issues with their construction sites. So if we're doing this with private facilities, we need to make sure we're not having any of these same issues occur on Metro properties. And then sites that do develop, whether it's a Metro property or a private property, not only are they supposed to put controls in during construction to prevent the sediment from running off, but they have to have permanent controls to prevent issues with increased stormwater runoff and pollutants after the site's built and approved. We have to have a program in place to oversee those. And just to make you all understand how important this is, on a normal site that's a wooded or a grassy area, and when it sees rain, a lot of that rain soaks into the ground. If it's a large rain, you're going to get a slight rise in the creek, but it's going to be mostly clean water. When we remove all that vegetation and we put in asphalt and buildings, 90 to 100% of the rainfall onto that is going to wash off straight into the creek without any treatment. It's going to cause downstream flooding, and it's going to cause all the pollutants associated with that parking lot or building rooftop. It's going to wash straight into that creek. So the whole idea of the stormwater treatment is to put something in between this. Obviously, we want to allow development to occur, but it has to occur smartly. So these structures that we allow to be designed and put in place, they function by either detaining water in some cases and slowly releasing it, settling out pollutants, not overwhelming the system, or they promote infiltration into the ground where water does not run off the site, but the pollutants would filter in the soil. But if these structures are not maintained, they're just going to overflow. This is a detention pond that's holding water, that when it rains, the detention volume is not there anymore. There's an overflow in the top of the structure. It's just going to overflow straight and go out. So there's no treatment. These water quality vaults that are underground that filter stormwater runoff, they've reached capacity. All of these are designed to overflow. We're not going to allow something to be put in place if it clogs to back water up on a parking lot and cause a safety issue. So they're all designed to have overflows. So if they're full, the future trash that washes in there and sediment is just going to wash right through. So we have to have a program in place. And we go out, we just started expanding this over the last few years. We inspect thousands of these sites every year, and we issue hundreds of letters to property owners when we find a bioretention that's not being maintained, like this one. We'll issue a letter and get them to fix it. And we've had a lot of success over the years. This is an example of an underground water quality unit. It's got trash, cups, cans, soccer balls. This is not filtering anything anymore. Anything that comes in it now is just going right to the overflow. So we issue letters and we get them to clean those. This is an example of a dry detention pond. It's supposed to be grass lined. It's starting to get some woody vegetation. So we sent letters and got them to clean it out, restore it to its original function. So it's having an immediate benefit to the runoff of that property. So if we're doing this with all of our thousands of private sites, we need to have more scrutiny of the metro properties, because metro properties have these same structures. And we've changed our process over the last few years. We used to require you guys to do your own inspections and send reports to us on what you needed to do. We've changed that where we have enough resources now where we're sending people out to all the metro properties every year and inspecting those. And we just finished up this round, and you'll be hearing from Liz Steinstraw. She's our main contact. You've probably already heard from her, some of the departments, but she'll be coordinating with you very shortly on some of the major maintenance issues that need to take place on these stormwater control measures. And it's very important that you respond back and make sure that the major maintenance is addressed within this year. So that's something to look forward to. Later this summer, we had to pass a resolution in council to allow us to treat metro departments a little different than we treat our private sites, since we're doing our own inspections. That has been passed, so we are looking to get all the MOUs revised with all the departments this summer and put into place, so that you'll be hearing from myself and Liz and our legal counsel to help get that in place as the months go on. But also on our metro properties, we have to make sure that there's no impact to runoff. We have maintenance departments, or maintenance facilities in a lot of the different departments. Parks has them, Public Works has them. We've created plans. Back in 2013, we put what we call runoff management plans together for all the facilities, such as Public Works and Parks maintenance and the golf course maintenance sites. And it requires the site people on the ground to do inspections routinely to make sure that there's no oils or paints or other material exposed to stormwater runoff, and if there is, to clean it up. So that's one of the things TDEC will check on when they come to do an audit. And this is an example of the plans that we've put together. All of this is available on our intranet page, and this is the link to that page that I mentioned earlier on. And everything that we have as far as our stormwater plan, our runoff maintenance plans for maintenance facilities and our employee training is on this website link through our intranet page, the IM page. We also have put together SOPs for specific departments. So we have processes in place. If you're digging a pit, you got to pump the water, it's got to be filtered. If you're cutting concrete and you got a wet saw, all that sediment that's coming off in that discharge from that slurry needs to be filtered so that it doesn't go straight into a storm drain. We created SOPs to address these and such. We have these SOPs. We need to make sure that our employees are trained on those. And Allison's going to talk a little bit more about that, but she'll be reaching out to you all in the future to make sure that we get all the maintenance employees trained on the proper procedures. And also, any facility, whether it's a maintenance facility or not, we need to make sure that we have proper storage, mixing, and application of pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. When we got our main audit in 2006, EPA requested copies of all the license applicators for all the Metro government. We had to coordinate with every department and get everybody that was licensed to the Tennessee Department of Agriculture to apply chemicals. So make sure whoever you have in your department goes through the Tennessee Department of Agriculture program and gets certified to apply chemicals, and they're storing those chemicals appropriately. These chemicals are designed, pesticides are designed to kill invertebrates. So if they wash downstream, they can kill invertebrates in streams as well. This is a big crayfish kill from a pesticide discharge in a creek. And lastly, contracted work is still Metro work. We are not insulated just because we have a contractor. If we have a contractor doing something that's causing a stormwater violation, we are on the hook for it. We can help with that. We can enforce on your contractors if you want us to. There is specific language that we've put into Metro contracts. Just get with us if that's the case. But we cannot have an issue where a Metro contractor is also creating an issue. So with that said, I'm going to transfer over to Allison.
Josh, while you're transferring over, we did receive a question during your part, and I'm going to take a shot at answering it while Allison is getting ready for her part.
Okay.
The question was from Brent Grubb, and his question was, who reviews MDHA's stormwater structures? There's really two elements to that. One, if it's a new development, our partners over in development services, Metro Water Development Services, would review the engineering plans to make sure that it met all the stormwater specifications. If it relates to an existing structure, there really are various circumstances. And what I would suggest on that, if there ever is an issue or question, just get in touch with us and we can consider them on an individual basis. So again, Josh, thank you for that presentation. I would just add, one of the things that really is beneficial of us working with you all, and it's especially exemplified in our thermographs where we work with the police department, the fiscal efficiencies that we have achieved with a lot of this is really, really good. It just helps us overall to maintain a good, positive budget outlook on these things and do these sorts of things very economically. So thank you again for that. And with that, I will turn it over to Allison.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm Allison. As Josh explained, I work within the permit group in our stormwater division, and I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about how you can help us remain in compliance with our MS4 permit, and then the resources that we have available for you. Okay, so one of our main requirements is ensuring that employees who perform maintenance activities are properly trained, whether it's in detecting an illicit discharge or who to contact in our office if there is a spill. And our office provides training, and there's a couple ways that we can do this. We can either set up a workshop with your employees where we can come in and present to you, or we can provide educational material for the training. And then another easy option is we do have a video available on the website listed. It's about a 20-minute video, and employees can view it on their own time. And then one of the things we need to be sure to have when we do complete this training is a employee sign-in sheet, just to verify that all required employees do have their proper training. And ideally, we want to have this training about every year, as a lot of maintenance positions tend to have high turnover, and we just want to make sure everyone is up to date in the event of a TDEC or EPA audit. And the sign-in sheets are available on that intranet website that was posted on the previous slide. And all sign-in sheets, once they are filled out and completed, can be emailed to our office at stormwaterquality@nashville.gov. And we'll use that in our reports and if there is an audit. So Josh explained previously about our office's SCM program and the maintenance requirements necessary to keep these structures functioning. Ideally, having one or two responsible parties to keep up with SCM maintenance makes it easier for both our office and yours to just ensure nothing is being overlooked and to have easier communication with just one person at your site. If these structures are not maintained, it can get costly. An example, it's much more efficient to consistently blow off parking lots with permeable pavers rather than to have to replace the whole lot because it hasn't been maintained in years. So a big part of it is just staying organized and keeping on top of maintenance. And as you mentioned, if you do have any questions about stormwater control measures on your properties, feel free to reach out to our office. We do have a specific email for that, or you can just call our main line. Okay, so a big part of employee training would focus on recognizing water quality issues and knowing who to report them to. We want to use the large amount of maintenance staff working throughout the city to our advantage. This includes them being able to identify a water quality issue and having them report it as soon as it is observed. Immediately notifying our office is critical because illicit discharges can often disappear before our office can respond. Even a matter of hours can make a difference in being able to trace it back to the responsible party. So really, we just want to make sure once an illicit discharge is observed that it's sent to us right away, and then we will take care of the rest. Okay, and then we also are here today just to get any updated contacts for each of the departments. These contacts would include ground maintenance staff that may keep up with stormwater control measure maintenance, field maintenance managers, and any administrative staff that can provide information for our annual report. And those contacts can be emailed to Josh at his email that's listed. And then, as Josh mentioned, I'm the public education coordinator for our stormwater group, and we are always looking for new educational partnerships. A lot of what we do involves educating the public, and we do have a large amount of educational materials available that focus on residential and commercial stormwater issues. A couple of examples, we've worked with Public Works and their Keep Nashville Beautiful group at some educational events. Recently, I worked with Metro Public Libraries to help promote our rain barrel program. We can do mail outs if you identify a certain area. or if you need some material, educational material. And as you know, COVID-19 has canceled a lot of events over the summer. So if you do know of any events or workshops coming up and you would be interested in having our NPDES staff there, just feel free to contact either me or our Stormwater quality email. Okay, and so then how can we help you? Our NPDES group can and wants to assist other metro departments with stormwater or other environmental compliance issues. This can include creating stormwater runoff management plans for metro facilities with exposed materials, guidance through grading permit and erosion control processes, guidance on TDEC or COE permitting for work in streams or creeks. Our watershed group can help with wetland delineations or stream determinations, and then mentioned earlier guidance in SEM maintenance. So really our office is here to help, and if there are any questions, just feel free to either call or reach out by email. And so I will now hand this off to Rebecca.
Thank you, Allison. As you're handing off to Rebecca and she's taking control of the presentation, again, I want to thank you for your part. For those listening in, Allison is also our industrial inspector. So if you ever were to run across an industrial site that maybe you wondered about the runoff, she would be the contact on that. The stormwater quality, or the stormwater quality at Nashville.gov email address is really kind of a good go-to email address if you need to contact us. As we transition to Rebecca, Metro is a little bit unusual that our stormwater group has taken a little bit larger role in trees than is the case with a lot of municipalities. But the rationale behind that is the stormwater benefit that trees provide from a stormwater perspective. And I'll just give you one stat as Rebecca gets ready to come on. If you have a lot that is, let's say, covered or has a stand of trees on it, over the course of a year, the runoff from that site will only be about 5% of the annual runoff. Whereas if you cover a lot, let's say with pavement, it'll be, upwards of 95%. Even turf grass will be about 20% of the annual stormwater discharge. So trees, they're very important from a stormwater perspective. Obviously, they also have a lot of other benefits for Metro relating to urban heat island effect and various other issues. So toward that end, Metro has started taking more of an interest of trees, maintaining our public trees, and Rebecca Doan in our office is primary on that. So with that, Rebecca, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, as Michael mentioned, my name is Rebecca Down, and I am the Low Impact Development and Special Projects Coordinator for Metro Water Services. And today I'm going to talk with you about our urban forestry efforts at Metro Water Services. And don't worry, I only have 3 slides. Oops. Okay, so way back in 2018, Mayor Berry signed Executive Order 40, which outlined a new tree policy for Nashville. This order was reaffirmed by Mayor Briley and has been updated and signed by Mayor Cooper and is now Executive Order 5. So we're moving up in executive orders. So first and foremost, it identifies Nashville's urban tree canopy as a utility to be managed as an asset and recognizes all the benefits that it provides to the city. It then places the responsibility for coordination of urban forestry efforts in Nashville with Metro Water Services. Just to be clear, it does not move tree responsibilities such as landscape code enforcement and codes or tree maintenance and parks to Metro Water. It just assigns Metro Water the job of organizing efforts within Nashville. So what does this entail? We have monthly tree working group meetings with representatives from Metro departments in charge of trees. I have quarterly meetings with directors to discuss tree issues. we have embarked on a street tree right-of-way inventory, and we are also charged with doing an assessment of the overall canopy in Nashville every 5 years in order to figure out how better to manage the utility. Here is an image of our right-of-way inventory, and we are not only inventorying trees, tree conditions, species, sizes, but we're also taking an inventory of potential planting locations that we'll be able to use to go back and get more street trees out there eventually. One of the more important policies in Executive Order 5 is for Metro to lead by example when it comes to public trees. So first, for development projects that have a tree density requirement, these are Metro projects, Metro needs to be 15, that's the 15% higher than a private development. And so this translates to about 6.6 new additional 2-inch trees per acre on a development site. Next, for tree removals on Metro properties, mainly maintenance removals that are not associated with development, if the total cumulative inches of trees removed is greater than 100 inches, and that's a measure of the tree's diameter at breast height, or if you're taking down one healthy tree over 30 inches, then there are replacement standards that have to be met for those removals. So, for example, Parks, Shelby Bottoms, they needed to move a bridge, but and to move the bridge to another location, they were going to have to take down a number of trees, and it turned out that that was going to be over 100 cumulative inches of trees removed. So they inventoried what trees they were removing, and you don't have to count the ones that are diseased or that are going to die or that are less than 6 inches. And then they used the replacement schedule to calculate how many more trees that would need to be planted. And so that is actually a project that's still ongoing. They had to slow down the planting because of COVID, but that should be finished probably this fall. So on to something far less pleasant. Many of you have heard that emerald ash borer has arrived in Davidson County. It was first detected here in 2014, and it's going to result in the total loss of all of our ash trees. So this means an estimated 271 million trees in Tennessee are going to die. And for Metro Nashville, we've estimated that it's about 6% of our trees, which translates to roughly 1.6 million, I think plus or minus 66,000. So what are we doing to respond? Well, first of all, we need to figure out what we have. So we are working on an ash inventory for Metro properties. Parks has already identified over 7,500 ash trees on their properties. In our right-of-way survey thus far, we have luckily found that only 1.6 of the trees are ash. We have also put together a draft management plan for Metro. There is an EAB working group that meets quarterly. There is a speakers bureau. So if you have a group that wants an ash borer presentation, we have someone who can come out and give it. Of course, that's probably not ideal right now. So we do have a recorded version if your group would like that. We've been working to notify the public through flyers. We have put out 2 mailers in Metro Water Services water bills. We are posting signs at parks here. Here's an example of a sign that we designed for the Parks Department. When you go out and do an inventory of ash trees, they paint a blue blaze on the trees, and people were starting to wonder what the blue blazes were for. So we put this sign together to help residents learn more about the ash borer when they see the blue paint. Now, I should note, for those of you who've seen the blue paint, it also indicates hazard trees. So there are a few trees out there with blue paint on that are not ash trees. On a final note, if you yourself have an ash tree or on your property that you want to save, this is probably the last year to start treatment. And because we're starting to see crown dieback of the ash trees, which means that you can no longer save. So on a happier note, in 2018, we launched the Route Nashville campaign. It is a public-private partnership between Metro government and the Cumberland River Compact, is the operational partner. Nashville Health, which is Senator Frist's nonprofit, is over the advisory board. And we work with some other great tree nonprofits, such as the National Tree Foundation and the National Tree Conservation Corps. So the lofty goal is to plant 500,000 trees by the year 2050, and if you do the math, which we have, is almost 16,000 trees each year. So this means we have to plant trees everywhere. But we did also identify some impact areas where we want to concentrate tree plantings. So these impact areas were based on low canopy, high incidence of respiratory diseases, the heat island, impaired water quality through our 303D list, and then vulnerable populations such as low income and children. So let me try to get fancy here and show you our tracking software. Hold on. So this is our tree plotter tracking software for our Root Nashville campaign. And you'll see here that we have a lot of different tree species that have been planted. But another thing you can do with this software is you can go in and find out what group planted the trees. So that's how we engage a lot of organizations around Nashville, that they can contact us. We'll put their name in here, and then they can start logging their trees. One other great feature of this software is it calculates the benefits of all the trees. You'll see here runoff mitigated by the trees, property value increases, and you'll have to keep in mind that all these trees that we counted were 1 inch or greater. So their benefits to the community aren't very high yet, but as they grow, the benefits will grow, and as we plant more trees, hopefully we will see these numbers really escalate. And now let me try to go back to my presentation. Okay, so this is where the campaign really needs the help of Metro Department. So please reach out to me if you know of a good spot to plant trees on Metro property. We can help plan, and care for the trees. This is a picture of a tree planting that we just finished up in early March at Mullins Greenway. We're hoping it'll be a pilot project to help get some shade on the trails that are in the bright sun in summer, and we planted 175 trees there, so it'll be interesting to see how they grow. And on a final but very exciting note, we have just hired a Metro arborist. He started last week, and it has been an adventure bringing someone on during this time we're in, but he has hit the ground running, and he will be a great resource for Metro's urban forests. So on that note, I am going to stop sharing my screen and turn it back over to our host. And Michael, I've changed it back to you now.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. And hopefully everyone be back at our first screen. Thank you all so much for coming online today. I know through this last set of presentations, we got several comments and appreciative for them, a few questions. I tried to look through them, but I wasn't really able with the screen configuration to look at them, but we will work with ITS and get you answers back on those. I do apologize for Rebecca's audio. Some of you indicated she was a bit hard to see. This is our first foray into this media, but I think overall it went pretty well. I'd like to thank all of our speakers today, to include Mr. Potter taking time to come on and give us some initial comments, staff, and all of you who participated today. Again, if you ever have any questions on any of the material presented today, or there's any way that we can help you, please don't hesitate to contact myself or via the emails presented today. So again, thank you so much for attending. Stay safe and have a great day. Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.